I come from a tiny state called Kerala, and it is coined by an intellectual, a bureaucrat turned intellectual, God's own country. I can name more countries where I have traveled. I can name few countries where I have not traveled. We don't interact with people. We try to judge people. That discussion, that talk, chat actually has no boundaries, no limitation, and you open up. He was picked up by the police department to use catching smugglers. I came to Delhi, joined my ambitious plan of publishing. I loved books. I don't know whether you are super intelligent, he said. I said, even I don't know whether I am super intelligent, but my memory is good. Since I opened, I remember every title of the book and the author and the color. And those gold were kept in the temples so that no thief can go to a temple. Pardon people, improve them, try to bring them along with you if they are doing something wrong. They have fever, so they know what plants they are to eat, and they are fine. Whole world, whole population consists of rare after rare of people. It is run so far, it will run because of good people.
Hi. For those of you who are here for the first time, I'm known as og.Hetera. I'm a car girl. I usually make car videos, but not today. And this is why I decided to record this 1-minute intro to say that this video is a first one in, as I hope, a series that I named Interview with an Ordinary Person, even though it's not strictly an interview. And this video comes from the same place of passion for the subject as my other videos, from the same kind of I wish I knew this sooner that I'm trying to share with you. And the things to know about this video are that I on purpose don't offer an extensive introduction for my character, and that if you only want to see car videos, you are invited to follow a link in the description to join my Telegram channel, where you will get a chime only when a car video is released. So, hello Nair.
Hi.
Thank you for, having this time to talk with me. I hope that it's not only because you would like to help me and be on my channel, but also because you would like a conversation with me.
True.
And know how life is getting like faster.
True.
And so people more and more don't hold their sight on someone anymore and on another person, and like don't take the time, sometimes don't have the interest to really see them and to hear from them. And I think I intuitively sometimes started noticing that about myself. And for me, I always try, even if something is happening, even if it feels like it's not a good thing, I try to at least acknowledge it. I try to catch myself, And so for me, the significance of this is that I met you. I thought that you were this, I really appreciated what kind of person you are. And so I wanted to talk with you more. We had this talk like the other day.
Yes.
And I just genuinely felt like I would like to talk with you more,
Yeah.
And so I figured, why not, record this part, because to capture this moment where,
Yes.
a person wants to see and hear another person.
Yes.
And take that time without, limiting it, without, okay, I have 15 seconds like for the video on, some social network, or I have, okay, I have 1 hour, then I have, something else.
True.
It's like approach that we don't do as much anymore. So I wanted to like capture that. And then another reason, and last one, is that I have a terrible memory. And so for whatever the reason is, this is like, even this channel is in a way that journey of capturing memories too.
Yes.
So it's kind of like that. So thank you for doing this.
Welcome, Ilona. Thank you
Yes.
so much for this moment. I wouldn't call opportunity because we are interacting.
Yes.
So for this is a very significant moment from that point of view. Welcome to this discussion or chat you call. Perhaps it's better to call chat, because we are going to talk various issues which you are going to put to me. I strongly feel that with my professional and personal experience traveling within the country of India. I come from a small state, Kerala. So traveling from Kerala, a tiny state, to the bigger part of India, North India, touching Himalaya, where I operate in New Delhi. That's the capital of India. And also, Disney has given me a chance to travel more or less the entire world. I can name more countries where I have traveled. I can name few countries where I have not traveled. So I would call myself as a lucky person travel globally. There are few countries I could not travel, and that also I think there must be some reason. And therefore, with all that background, I always feel that we human beings, we don't interact with people more often. We try to we try to judge people after seeing physically, and then there is a discussion going on inside whether I should speak to this person or not. To me, it is always a fault lines you are following. If you meet a person, say hello to him or hello to her and talk to her if you are not disturbing the other person. And I find that a person you physically see and then make your own opinion in 5 minutes or 3 minutes, or a travel time of 1 year or 1 day, 1 hour in the plane or in the train, that actually will go like this if you talk to that person A or B in 5 minutes. Then that discussion, that talk, chat actually has no boundaries, no limitation, and you open up, you talk everything about you if you want to talk, because you need a good listener also. So that is what I also experience in my travel time as a businessman, also as a professional publisher. I do that. So meeting, just seeing a person, you cannot judge a person. If you have judged that person and you think you have done the right thing, sorry, you are wrong. The only way is to talk, understand each other, and I am sure if you are an interesting personality and you have something to talk about with your experience and stories, I am sure the other person will come out with her or his own stories, and that will be the time then you will be judging, or you will be able to make up your mind, oh, what a kind of person I met. It may be a chance meeting. That meeting can take place later also. The relationship can also continue, and many such examples I have witnessed. Many examples, and so it must have helped me in many ways, personally and professionally. And my friendship with people goes back to my memory, which you said you got a good memory. I do have a good memory, and so it goes back to, I think, 4 to 5 decades. Yeah, I remember everything what happened to me from the age of 5. everything. I might have forgotten a few knowingly, because it doesn't give me any happiness. So why should I remember that? That is deliberate attempt. So my memory is very sharp. So I judge people, I meet people, talk to them, get the best out from them, and I also give out. And I'm a giver from that point of view also. And that is what actually continued in my journey. And I 100% agree with you that please meet, chat, and talk to people you meet, talk, and then understand, and then leave out something to destiny. If you want to be reconnected, or you may not be reconnected, that's fine. But that should be the way. One must understand this life, which you get once in lifetime. You don't get again this opportunity again. You don't get it. So that's what I feel. So I'm very happy about that. Your idea of talking and putting it out the way you want to, and so that the listeners who is going to listen or understand will get some kind of connectivity, and gets some benefit, which may not be monetary benefit, but a satisfaction, kind of satisfaction. Oh, I couldn't travel to this continent, but I met a person from that place. So I know what could be what could be happening over there. So that is what I think I totally believe in it. Thank you.
This is nothing more really than what I said. Like, I wanted to have another conversation with you.
Yes.
And then I came up with the idea of having a video of it, but that's still what it is. I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So can you tell me please about yourself? Where do you come from?
Well, I come from, as I did mention earlier, I come from a tiny state called Kerala, and it is coined by an intellectual, a bureaucrat turned intellectual, God's own country. So that's a word he coined for that country because it's so beautiful. It is a creation of God's to remember Him again and again. So Kerala is not to the outside world God's own country. So every country is owned by God, but this is a special country God created, and that's a tiny state I come from. And I educated there, and then moved out of that state for betterment, like we all. To me, all of us are immigrants, whether you like it or not. We are all immigrants because we travel from one place to another, and then that place to another. Opportunities come and go, and that's how very young age I moved out of my tiny states. Kerala after my formal education, and spent my waking years in North India, that is capital of New Delhi. But to arrive in New Delhi and take up a career in book publishing, in between I had to travel to a couple of other states too. And that all happened to me very nicely, and I picked up ideas and skill, and then that helped me to finally arrive at a place called New Delhi, the happening place, Mecca of Indian publishing, and I joined publishing in 1969. That was actually a God's gift to me, because that gave me further opportunity to study privately, because I had to have a running job. So I continued working, and in the evening I used to attend colleges wherever the provisions were there, or if there was no such, then I used to do my education, to further my education. Correspondence course, we used to say those days in 70s. Today it has become online courses, because there was no internet at that time. So it was known as correspondence course. You get material by post, You enroll in the university. It's a university degree or postgraduate degree, and you attend this course, these materials. You read yourself. You have a typewriter. You use them on the typewriter, and then you send a response sheet to the professor who is somewhere else. We don't know. We don't meet him, and then that was called a correspondence course. So I wanted to do that also. I knew that I have to enhance my own self-education when I talk to people like in the university and colleges, professors, while promoting the books. So that was my area, publishing. So I gathered this in the capital New Delhi, which again God was kind enough that everything was available there, except money part. When you are very young, you don't have that much money, and I was very disciplined soldier from that point of view. So part of my money I used to send back to home, not just to please them, but to tell them that I'm useful to you also.
Who were you sending it to?
Yes. I at home. That's a good question. I lived without my mother. I lost my mother when I was 8-year-old, and so I was looked after by my uncle. My father was a farmer, but he was a great swimmer. In Kerala, we have more than 56 rivers, all flowing all the time. Water is not a problem at all. And both sides we have sea, Arabian, and then the one side is Arabian Sea, other side is I don't remember the second sea, but Kerala is like that. But inside there are 56 rivers, all the time flowing. So my father's place used to be on the bank of one of the biggest river. So he learned swimming very early in his life, and he was a great swimmer, a good athletic also. So he was picked up by the police department to use catching smugglers. Those days, smuggling used to happen through the seas, smugglers. So he was put as a special officer. So he was sent to Sri Lanka for a few years. So I was basically then taken care by my uncle and my mother's sisters.
Those mothers.
Yes. So we had a running family, though directly not connected with me like mother, father, but uncle and aunties. And then so I wanted to prove to them that I am very useful to you. So I used to send some money to remind them that I am alive, I am useful to you. Until today, I do that. Whenever there is an opportunity, I help them, and they are in touch with me. So that is how I came to Delhi, joined my ambitious plan of publishing. I loved books. In fact, one of the smell which I really love is smell of a book. So I used to open all the bundles of books myself to feel that smell, because new books coming from America, coming from England, all used to have a different color, look. I always believe even today that the West is at least 30 to 40 years ahead of Indian publishing. Innovative ideas, colorful jackets, excellent binding, good layout, everything I love, even those days. So for me to open a new box containing 100 books from the West, that was the best thing I can do in the morning. So I used to reach office early morning, 8 o'clock, take my breakfast in the office and open the bundle with my team and enjoy this. So gave me two things. One, I love those that kind of a smell and ambience and atmosphere. Second, since I open, I remember every title of the book and the author and the color, and my memory was very sharp. And in book business, memory is very, very important. That I learned later, but that's what my boss told me. Your memory is very good. So we used to pick up these books, which used to come 10 copies, 5 copies, imported. Foreign exchange was very rare those days. So we used to import not 100 copies of a book published in the West. We used to have 10 copies, 15 copies. But range used to be very big, not the quantity. And sell those and then get the remain more copies. It used to be like that. So the flow of money is continuing. We don't block your money. Instead of getting one book 100 copies, we used to get 10 books 10 copies. That's what 10 titles. That's what I want to explain. So different books, different titles, and I still remember one of the physics author from Russia, Landau. He was a great physician. His book.
Did you say Landau?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and his book was on solid state physics. I must have sold thousands of copies in English. Originally written in Russian, got translated into English by a British publisher, and it was sold to India and various countries. That was a masterpiece. I still remember. So many such books from MIT Press, Chicago, Cornell, California, you take any name, American University Press. I did not understand American University presses, and I did not understand how the university is running in America. I had no idea, but the books brought me that knowledge. So we used to import from MIT, Chicago, Cornell, California, Harvard, you name any, all the American university presses I used to be on my fingertips. We used to import their books. I used to correspond with them, send them orders. So when you are a buyer, the publisher is very fond of a buyer because they publish, they want buyer. Nair is a buyer in India. Oh my God. They have no idea how I look. There is no video, there is no such thing, but only letters. So I used to get a lot of respect from them because I am ordering again and again.
Like paper correspondence.
Yes, that used to be that. So like that. So I enjoyed my work, and food was secondary to me. I had energy. Even today I have energy. I can jump 4 steps in one go. Even now my wife says, no, don't do this. It's not the time. But that energy is, as a child I got. Thanks to my father. I told you he was a swimmer. So his energy must have passed on to me. So I am very energetic. So as my other brothers also. But I am super energetic. So food was not important to me. I wanted to gather knowledge. So someone told me, I remember while traveling again, talking, he said, what do you do? I said, I am in book industry. What book industry? What do you mean by book industry? I said, this is what we do. We import books, we sell books, we go to universities, we go to colleges, promote the book, meet the professors, meet the librarians, get the books pushed, get the books prescribed, multiple copies are sold, business come. He said, oh my God, so much happening in the book industry. I said, yes. And I said, one day I will travel abroad also. He said, oh, book industry, you have enough money to travel abroad also. I said, yes, it will happen one day. It happened actually, that's another thing. So when I explained all this, he told me one thing very, still I remember, he told me, Mr. Nair, you have super energy. After talking to me, I said, I didn't realize that. I knew I have energy, but I didn't realize somebody is telling me this. I said, sir, what do you mean? He was alert to me. I said, he said, you have super energy. Okay. I don't know whether you are super intelligent, he said. I said, even I don't know whether I am super intelligent, but my memory is good, I said. He said, okay, but one thing I can tell you, a man born with a super intelligence will do thing in 4 hours. But a man with a super energy, with hard work, will do that in 6 hours. So you only have to do 2 hours extra work to become super intelligent, if you are not. So the lesson was very clear to me, that much intelligence I had, that I should work extra. If people are working 8 hours, I should work 10 hours to be on the top. And I continue doing that even today. Because everybody is not born in the same way like you said earlier. Every child is not the same. Same thing. My grasping power may not be a super Einstein's grasping power, may not be a scientist Einstein, as you know. But if I put hard work and put more time in my work, I will be able to do his work. This is what that man told me when I was very young. I was 21. So I picked up that idea from him. So extra hours of work never mattered to me. Whereas my bachelor friends, they all say, why are you going on a Saturday to work? I enjoy, we'll go for a movie. I said, no, I am going to work. Because I knew that I wanted to be better than these characters. So how will I do it? Yes. So I used to work Saturday. Sunday I used to keep for myself, because cleaning, keeping my room neat and clean, a discipline, as I told you, I'm a disciplined soldier. I like that also. So keep my home nice and neat, and nobody should say when coming into my room, oh, you have kept your room very badly. I don't like that. I don't accept disrespect from anybody if possible. So Saturday I will work. Others don't work. Saturday, Sunday I work. So that extra hours of work actually helped me a lot in getting to know people, bringing more business to the company where I worked, and becoming the darling of the bosses. All the bosses will come first thing in the morning and give a bell. Get Mr. Nair. Because he wants to meet me first. So one day I asked my boss, why do you want to meet me first? You can meet the good looking lady, your secretary, or you can meet somebody else. He said, I want to meet you first because you give me energy. You give me news. Because I will not talk to him only what I am doing. That is my bread and butter. But I will give him other information regarding what's happening in the company, what's happening in the office, what competitors are doing. So these are the things I learned early in my life, and that's how if at all I am successful, when I started my own company, this is the basic reason. So I am very happy with that, and I continue doing it. And I try to tell my children also, all the 4 children, I tell them only this: put extra hours. You are intelligent, very good. You have learned more than me. You got better education than me. But this is, never forget one thing, that you have to work hard till your last day. No relaxation business. Okay, now I have done it. Now let me relax. No.
So was it around 8 years old when you moved to your uncle, or was that later?
I think I was 6 years old.
6 years old?
Then I moved to, my mother was a bit unhappy with the background of the farmer's house. You know, a farmer is a farmer, whatever you say.
Yeah.
My mother's side was all civilian officers, working in the offices, very well dressed, they're better educated. So my mother always had love for that kind of a thing. But the marriage ended up with a farmer. So that's fine, she accepted it. But when she got opportunity, she moved back to my uncle's place.
Oh, so
My own brother's place.
You moved with the mom?
Mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then mom was the boss of that big house. She was very efficient lady. But then she got, those days typhoid was not curable. She got typhoid. So normally typhoid comes and then very difficult to. There was no treatment for typhoid those days. They did not realize what was it. And then she got fever, and then she got out of it. But then second time she got the fever. So that was very dangerous. And she passed away. At that time I was 8-year-old.
But your dad, he was still at the farm at that time?
He was, after I lost my mom, he was upset naturally. He was also young. And so he went back to his mother and sisters. So maybe probably they wanted him to lead another life, but he did not agree for that. But then he did farming, plus he did some job over there. He was a very efficient man, and he used to visit us, but not very regularly. He wanted to take us back, but then my mother must have taken a promise from own brother that don't, if at all something happens to me, don't allow the children to go back to that ambience which she didn't like. She thought we will not be educated. Quite possible, because those days we are talking of 50s and all, 1950. The education did not spread that well in Kerala. Later it picked up. So she had her own feeling, apprehension. So my uncle was in a very good post. So he said, no, don't worry, I will look after them. And he looked after. So basic educations and all that, not a great education, but we all moved out one by one.
Yeah, you had like brothers and sisters, or?
Mm-hmm. We are 4, including myself. My elder brother, he also came back to North India. He worked with a very big construction company, British construction company. He was looking after that. I also joined him for a while. That's why I came to North India. But then I did not like that job. So I moved to New Delhi to become a publisher or publishing industry, join publishing industry. My third brother was also in a construction company with my elder brother. He liked that work. He was very good, had a great skill of fabrication, fabrication of sheets and engineering goods. He was very good. And my only sister, she stayed back in Kerala and she married. She got one son and one daughter, and we are in touch with her. And my 2 brothers passed away. Elder brother passed away 4 years back. The younger one passed away 2 years back. So I think now myself and my youngest sister, so she is in Kerala. So we are in touch, and she's fine. Yeah. I think because of the colonial rule, British ruled us. They changed a lot of our culture. They changed. They try to convince us unnecessarily that your culture is bad, your language is not good, you have no history, or you are not contemporary, you are not progressive. Use all those unnecessary words to prove that you are practically of the color, or you are not facing the world properly. To some extent you are a slave. That's how the British did that. So they used the cultural imperialism. I always say that cultural, because I am a publisher. Cultural imperialism was thirst on many continents, countries like Africa. Africa is a continent. What happened? That same thing happened. They said that you are all wrong. You are all doing wrong things. You should not do it. It's only to prove that their culture is better, or they were born in a different way. We were not born that way. All those things happened in India. Though Indians fought, that's a different issue. But it took time to understand what they are up to. They came for business. Later they took over the control, because one man must have sent a note to Queen of England that this country is having 550 rulers. They are fighting with each other. This is the time we should take over. And they did that. Very nicely they did it. Cleverly they did it. And they had the power. They had the guns. They had the horsepower. They had the fighting power. And Indians never had those things. We used to fight on horse with all kinds of things, but we never had gun or ammunition. So that is how, So I think our original culture should have been developed. I am not saying that it was not tribal. It was tribal, definitely. But it could have evolved in a nicer manner by those thoughtful Indian mindset, intellectual people to bring us up better way, many ways. We always believed in Mother Nature, but the British said, no, there is no Mother Nature. You just forget about it. If the river, the mountain, all this is for your use. You cultivate them. You bring them down. Make farmland. That is what we have been taught by them. They brought railways, cutting, trees, cutting. Right or wrong. But why they wanted railway? Because they wanted to get things easier way, transportation. They wanted to make more roads for what? Transportation. For business. For profit. Original Indians, they never thought of that kind of a profit. They would have, but would not have taken time to understand how best we can do. That they did not allow. They bulldozed. Anything they wanted to experiment on the earth, British, they tried first on India. Because we had the population. Even if, let's say, 100,000 people die with that, they don't bother. Because we are so many people, nobody will notice it even. But in England, if they 100 people are killed, it will be noticed. So I am told the first sugar factory, white sugar factory was started in the world by the British in India first. In India, killing people. Because they knew, but they had to do it for their own business purpose. So therefore, many things got wounded up, many things got really affected in India, and therefore our own culture, we are trying to find ways and means to gather it now. But when we gather it now, those who have gone into British system, education wise, following Western culture and pattern of living, lifestyle, they don't like. Those majority of Indians who are trying to find, no, this is not our history, our history is something else, let's find out, and what improvement we should do, nothing wrong, but don't copy the Western culture, you don't need. India is a tropical country, you don't need three-piece suit. In England you need a pant, woolen pant, you need a shirt, you need a coat, you need three-piece, 1, 2, that is a small one, 3. But in India we never used to have. Even in the winter there is only one big coat, that's all, chained up to this or buttoned up to this, and that will protect you. You don't need three-piece suit. A tie, we never used to wear tie. It's all Western culture. But that was forced upon us. So the cream of the society in India was bought by the British. That is exactly they did. And those people in India, they are now telling they are very progressive, they are modern. I don't agree. They are not modern. They are only trying to follow another culture. And so we have become a kind of a cocktail in India, neither there nor here. We don't know the roots actually. Our children have no idea what is the root. We must understand from where we have come, how we have progressed. Nothing wrong in it. What is the problem? Why we are keeping museums? We are keeping museums only for that. So anyway, that is what it is. So therefore, many things got changed in India, and sometimes it is painful. Sometimes when you see the personal improvement, progress of some people, it's a betterment for them. I'm not saying no, because you are open to different culture, you try to learn and you try to decide what you want to. All those freedoms definitely you got, no doubt about it. I'm not saying no. But what is good for the people, majority, that is what I look upon. That is called welfare economics. That is called welfare education. The education for the 2% of total population is not what I want. Education which will be useful for 75% people, yes. Anyway, so this will go on.
You called it cultural imperialism, right? And that's such a good combination of words. And you know what I almost feel like? Do you tell me, like, do you kind of get what I'm saying when I say this? It's almost not about the dominance of, let's say, English speaking world over some other cultures. It's all over the place. One group of people meets another group of people and their views are different. Each group is likely to take on that, that view, where their world and their principles are superior.
Yeah, I think this has been from time immemorial, not today. It has been time immemorial because earlier these debates or discussions or struggles or whatever you call were never got recorded. People, travelers got these recorded, or people who, social scientists got recorded all those, and that is why we read so many books, the views coming. But today, because of the internet, today because of technical modalities, you are able to see it on channels, videos, and of course a blog, articles, then of course finally books and films, documentary films and other films. So these are all. So these are all on from time immemorial, I think so, because a clash of interest always there, and particularly now the democracy versus the other side of autocracy or by kind of a ruling. So that also is creating issues. Democracy in many ways good, people participation, but that is only once in 5 years or once in 4 years. In between what happens, the people at large have no idea, they have no time to know, and all the rules and regulations which are being made by any democratic country or any other countries anywhere in the world, they all are discussed under the carpet, and that finally come to you through legislation, and some countries it is imposed on you without legislation, if it is a dictatorship country or a king country or queen's country. And so I think in various ways finally it is benefiting some section of people. So I think that is the issue, that this class struggle will go on. Earlier it was between the laborers and the owners. Today it is everywhere. You see, anyone who is doing business, small business, I am telling you, employing 10 people, when he starts that business, he is thinking of his business, and then he thinks, if he is a good man, I am giving employment to 10 people. But later it becomes different. Initially he is thinking that way, and people are also joining him. After about a year or two, when people think he is making more money, he is not giving us, and he thinks that people are not working enough, that I am not making more money, or I should have made more money. So all these struggle will continue. This is not a simple, there is no simple solution for that. It will continue, struggle, change, only change will happen. And so that is what it is happening. Everything is like that. Farming also. Earlier farming was small holding. Today the farming have been taken over by big business group or big moneyed people, in thousands of hectares. So there is a total difference now. But what can you do? That is how it is. Yeah.
Cultural imperialism, I'm not tying it to the concept of empire, right? I'm talking about cultural imperialism almost in an intimate way, as if like each person has that cultural imperialism in them. Kind of like how you said about the entrepreneur person, right, who starts a business.
Yeah.
What you precisely called cultural imperialism, I see it as that the energy with which I see people today look at the world often, as if almost different people and different groups are those Englishmen from ages before, you know, like, so somebody today, for example, thinks that, you know, technology is great and it's superior and it's the way to go, right? And so they think that someone else, another person or another group of people who disagree with that and who think that there is certain harm, for example, that technology brings.
That is happening.
So yes, and so that first person, that technology person, perceives those other people as lunatics, barbarians.
So I conclude. I would like to say on this is about the arrogance of technology. Arrogance of technology is also one of the reasons of all the disaster, because they think the scientist or scientific group think that, you know, everything is possible through science. It is not possible. Everything is. I think for that you need to understand the whole world. You should understand the whole humanity. You should understand everything, a living cell in the world, how they function. Like for instance, lion eats deer. Lion has to eat deer, and that is the balance of life in the humanity. God, whichever is the nature has created. You see, whereas there is another animal which is only having simple grass. It lives on grass. It doesn't eat any non-veg. What I am saying, animals too. So look at that. So there is something beyond all these rules and regulations, man-made rules. Science is man-made rules. You calculate and then you decide, oh well, this happened and this is going to happen, fine. But the question is, I am not saying science has not helped human being or the world. Science has helped, but you should not be arrogant about it. I know certain things, yes, I should be able to understand that and then practice it for good of human beings, good of the world, not using it in an arrogant way. No, I am everything, I know all this, you just forget about it. So this happens elsewhere also, whether it is culture, my culture is better than yours, or what you follow, preach is different, what I follow is right. I think it's there. So there are many things have to be reformed. I think the reforms should come within. Why I am saying, because if you start reforming me, I start reforming you. You belong to another continent. I belong to another continent. There will be no compromise. So if those corrections have to come within. For instance, we have a family of 25 members here. Earlier, people used to live like that, 20 to 25 members together. Unity, strength, farming together, working together. And if there was a difference of opinion in the family, within the family we used to talk about it and correct it. Suppose in that family the difference of opinion is gone outside. Another character is coming in to settle it. It will not, temporarily it might work, it will not work permanently. So that's what I am saying. All of us have to be reformed from time to time, and those reformation has to happen within. It had happened earlier also, but we have no patience now. A stage has come, 21st century, there is no time, there is no patience. We must finish everything now.
Yeah.
Now look at that, the earth is struggling, floods, climate change, people are dying, the COVID, more COVID is coming, diseases, all that. And where are we going? The rich man is trying to go to moon. Why should you go to moon when your earth is suffering? Why do you? They are not sensible. They are sensible because they are more intelligent. They have got technological support, so they can reach the moon first before you and me. And each ticket will be costing that, and there will be more and more discoveries over there. So the half the population of Earth can go to moon. These are all dreams and dramas, but an arrogance of science also. So that is where I said that we must plan it, do it, slowly and gradually. And competition is not the answer. If A is going to do first or B, no, anybody can do. We are all one. That belief in oneness is also important. And take care of the Mother Earth. Mother Earth has all, Mother Nature has all answer to me. It has all, but you must have patience. Now, COVID time, we discovered so many things because we had time. We have been watching birds talking to each other, pairing with each other. We never noticed it earlier. We were so busy flying from one flight to another flight. This is what happened. And our roads were full of birds and animals. We were all watching. They did not attack us, but they were just going around. They said, come on, now we are free. But as soon as COVID got over, people started moving out. All these creatures who had come to the main roads all disappeared. They all gone back to the forest. But forest is also not available now. Shortest, because we had so much forest. If you really see, we have the information is there, but nobody is bothered to look at it. A great president once said here that there is no climate change at all. So just imagine. So therefore, I think we'll have to understand this issue that we all become arrogant. And who have become more arrogant? The rich and powerful. They have become more arrogant. The rich and powerful. The nature says when a mango tree or any other tree is growing, it becomes humble. How? With the weight of the fruits. It comes down. The height of a tree comes down. That is humbleness. Because it is pregnant, it has got more fruits. It wants to give it to earth. Give it. And once that is over, the tree again becomes tall. We can learn from that. We don't learn. We always talk of that, oh, I can do this. I got 3 houses, I got 5 houses, I got 10 houses. No, that is not the answer. We all have to live together. Try to help maximum people. That doesn't mean that you should starve and help others. No, you should look after. Along with that, you have a responsibility to look after. COVID time, what happened? In developing countries, we use servants like real slaves. They have to work round the clock. They come to office, they do all this. COVID time, we realized they are very important component. You cannot live without them. And many people realize that first time in their lives, that servants are very important component. They are like our extended family.
Maybe even servants themselves realized it.
Extended family. And they were given facilities, they were given leave, they were given vaccine, they were given medicine, all that. Earlier, it was like that. Oh, you work for 8 hours, you take money, you go, namaste. So things are that is by force it happened. So that is what I think intelligent people, even intelligent people who are well read, some of them talk like that. Not all I am saying. Some of them talk like that. So we have to be very humble and we have to understand that this is a given opportunity. One can all progress together and give and take. Of course, each one of us come with our own karma and destiny that we believe in our belief. In India, we believe that. So we'll have to complete that. We are here I am here because I have to do something and go back. And it will happen, whether I like it or not.
I made an example about a technological person versus, someone who questions that.
Yeah.
But then also, part of the reason why it's hard for me today, I feel, to find my circle, and maybe people I belong with, is because that other person who, for example, questions, right, who asks more questions, their view maybe resonates with me, but at the same time, they sometimes show the same thing, how that first person will say, oh, you are barbarians, you don't understand, we drive progress, and you are just wrong.
Opposite.
It's fine, we'll take. But then the other person, in my experience, that's what I've experienced. Sometimes they say the same thing. They say that, they sort of point fingers at each other and say, no, it's you, and I know better, and you are the barbarian, and you're going to take us all down with your technology. And they sort of put forward the same energy, and that's where I struggle, because I almost like, internally, my call is to be more on their side, because they are the ones, simply because they're the ones who question. It's not because they are for tradition or not for tradition, but just because when they see something new is invented, they have the instinct to ask, right? Instead of just
Following.
plow forward with it, Yeah, and so I intuitively am driven to them, but because they put forward the same energy, that's what repulses me, because my calling is more like, we should be together, even though you have this technology person, number one, yeah, and you think that it's so great, and you, person number two, you have this, something that the first person doesn't, that you think they have forgotten, or whatever it is. I'm about how do we do it together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And keep asking questions along the way. And so that's the thing.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, your question is answered very simply, that 5 fingers are not same. You have thumb, index, middle, 4 and little. 5 fingers are not the same. Same thing is happening to this world also. The different countries follow different methods, mainly keeping in view their own people. For instance, there are many countries which follow totally amiable, understanding lifestyle. They are not asking for moon. They don't have any highly achieved technological advancement program. They don't spend money on that. They spend money for education, health, looking after people. There are countries when I am saying rulers or people who selected certain people to rule and they become rulers. I am talking, there are countries, and they always give us an alternative arrangement. This is possible. So that is happening, but it's happening slowly and gradually. New Zealand is one country where I find, the Prime Minister is a lady, and she's very, very innovative, very hardworking. She's not against technology, but she says, no, if it is not possible now, let's not do it. Keep it pending for next 5 years. Let us first think of what is required by the people. Let us do that. There are countries like that. I am talking from the Western world point of view, New Zealand. And there are many countries, if you Google, who are following these principles. Technology, definitely for advancement, for new ideas. Now, let me tell you, today we are using technology, internet. If there was no internet, I have experienced life without internet, I tell you. When I joined publishing, it was only typewriter. It was only teleprinter. Big, this room. One teleprinter will take the whole room and it will make sound like your washing machine, old washing machine, and then paper will come. And this was used by every newspaper, teleprinter. News will come, and people will go read and then type out, and the news will be flashed I'm just telling you. I have done that. When I used to order books in America, my letter will take 15 days to reach America. For ordering books, books are required immediately, urgently. No way, because telephone was so costly. I can put a call, and the telephonic order was not taken as legal order also at that time. I am talking about 1970s. So we used to send a letter, typewritten letter, and signed by me or signed by my boss. It will go to the managing director of that HarperCollins company, or whichever, Harper and Row or Marshall Decker or MIT Press or University of Chicago or whatever. Then they will process it. They will reply to me. After 15 days I will get a reply. So it used to be like that a month. Look at internet, what they did. Now today, she is sending salary to my staff. Salary gone. Salary not only gone, straight away gone to the account. Not even. So it's all technological advancement. So there are plus and minus. So what I am only trying to say, just for objecting everything, one should not object. So countries which are following, like Bhutan, Sikkim, which are very close to us, and your New Zealand, and there are other countries also. I don't know about Switzerland, I don't know. Many countries are following good governance, keeping in view Mother Earth, nature's requirement, need, welfare of people, and also along with that technological advancement. You see, earlier we were living with the energy came from coal. British ruled the whole world with the coal only, because they had the power of coal, energy. Even India, coal is energy source now. Then it changed to oil. Then now it is electricity and then batteries through. So things will go on changing, fine. But the point I am saying, you don't have to fight, but you have to prove with your own way of working and doing, and objecting if there is necessary, object. I have seen the other day, we were somewhere in Berlin. I saw a big crowd on a Friday afternoon. So we all thought, what is happening? The whole traffic was jammed. Like yesterday it was festival here, but in Berlin it was something else. What was that? I don't forget. There was a major issue there. Climate change only, I suppose. They were voicing. So that is happening. That has to happen. And one person who listens to that can change the whole concept also, system of governance also. So therefore, the clash will continue, but voices have to be raised, and voices have to be heard, and voices have to be listened to, and then you have to find a middle way to govern people for their welfare. See, unfortunately, today welfare economics have gone down the drain. It is something else. They talk of GDP, they talk of that. I don't understand all that. What is the GDP? Growth, domestic production. What is that? If people are dying, if they are not able to get 2 times meal, what is the GDP has to do with it? I don't understand. So welfare economics we used to follow. Economists used to earlier talk of welfare economics. Now we don't have economists talking of welfare economics also. So things have to really looked at again. We have done something wrong, and pass a decade following wrong policies, change it. What is the wrong? Change it. After I am not going to take home anything for my private use. Okay. So what all we need? We want to live comfortably, and we want to see that our next generation is progressed. If you do keeping in view the next generation everything, I am telling you, all your problems are solved. The problem begins when you think of yourself, not your next generation. Climate change, next generation, who is bothered? If there is no forest for Veer, nobody is bothered. So we have to think of the next generation, each generation. Our forefathers thought of that. That is why we are here. Now my age is, I'm talking. My forefathers always thought of that. not over ambitious. You come home, easy food. In the night, we never used to have dinner. We used to have simple rice with a little pickle and all that. This is what they used to say. In the night when you sleep, your stomach should be empty, so that early morning you get up with a vigor. You want to eat, and your breakfast should be the best, and work in the field. Lunch little, and night practically even if you don't eat, it is fine. That is how we are built. But it all got changed with all the machine product. All the machine product came into, who brought it up? All the business people brought it up. No, nobody wanted machine ice cream. There was no ice cream when I was born. There was no ice cream. We used to get something made out of used to call jaggery, but something made out of the sugar cane. Sugar cane, in my house they used to cut sugar cane, put it in a machine, and that used to be the best thing in place of sugar. There was no sugar. Sugar was started by machines for making more money by the British. The first sugar factory came up in India. They can't say no now. It's a fact. It is recorded. So, everything is there provided. So, if you have done something wrong, you have the ability to correct. You correct it. So, that is what I would say. Now, think of your next generation all the time. I always say, if there is a man, 60-year-old standing before me, and there is a 25-year-old youth, and there is a 10-year-old boy standing, 3 people, ask my help. I will first help the 10-year-old. The second my help will go to the 25-year-old. And only the last, if I have, I will give to the old man. Because the next generation is more important for human survival. Not the man who passed 60. He has done his job. He has to live. I am not saying no. But your priority. Which government is looking after that? That's what I told you. The most neglected area in the whole world is education and health.
I agree. We couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Well, my experience is that two individuals are made differently. They are brought up in a different environment, and some of them get I won't say better, different opportunities to grow, nurture himself,
yeah.
And then try to So when you have two such personalities or individuals, brought up in a different style, got kind of a training, or maybe a holistic approach to his life he got, luckily, because of parents. The other one, followed a particular, line which his parents initially or later he himself thought that is a right thing to do. He doesn't care for what others are, thinking or doing. And same way, the one person, because of his past experience and then bringing up, reads many books, many mentors, many philosophers, many followers of the past century, try to read them, what they do, how I can do better, or how I can follow these people. He follows another line. Here another person, because of the circumstances, he is not able to do that, because not that he is not capable of, he is, but he is not able to do it. So, but when they meet, a particular place one day, when they grow up, these differences obviously come up. When these come up, both of them should understand this, that we are not here put by one mentor or one philosopher or one type of parents and then work together. We are different people. We met for a common program. So try to have an understanding why we are met here, why we are into this work, or why we are into a debate here. I raise my voice, you raise your voice, and then come up with some kind of an understanding. And if you are not able to do it, you agree to disagree, but you still could be a friend, because you can get something from the other person, and the other person can get something from the next person. And if you are not able to discern on a common path, let a third person, with both of you approve, can come up and then guide them. That is how the great leaders came up in this world, centuries after centuries. They could be philosophers, they could be mentors, they could be political leaders, they could be whoever they are. So I find with my experience, when I go to an author as a publisher, when I go to an author, I have my agenda what I should talk to him, and he also has agenda to what he should talk to me, and whether we can have a meeting point. He would like to give his work. I would like to see that that work is carry common good for the society, or the kind of book I am publishing. It doesn't create ripples in the society by which there are a lot of other issues come up which I want to avoid. But so long as it is good for the society, I would like to pick up that. And then of course there are peer reading and vetting, all this happen as a publisher when we get a manuscript and then decide to work together. So initially when we meet, we may have totally different opinions and ideas on the work projected to me by the author from his point of view. And here I am trying to give him a vehicle, a platform. I am not obliging him, but I am trying to give him a platform, a vehicle to expose his work to a larger audience in a readable, understandable and appreciative manner. That is my job as a publisher. So both are doing same thing to enhance the value of the work, which was a rough diamond, so which was cut properly and put out. So I find those authors with whom I have had different opinion in the beginning, later because of the common good, both have agreed to do and work together, and we produce sometime true diamond, which otherwise would not have happened. So that is the point I am saying. So first meeting may not be sometime good. I walk out, I said, sorry, I can't publish your book. He says, sorry, Mr. Nair, I can't do, because you are very, very committed about the way you want to do the work, but I want the book to be out in a month. You say, no, it will take 6 months. It will affect the quality if I do it in a month, which I don't understand why. Printing is so easy. So his own knowledge as a writer, how to publish a book is zero, which I don't tell him openly, but that is the reality. And I, as a publisher, doing publishing business, I know more than anybody else how to publish a book and how much time it will take to bring in value. But I am zero in writing that book. I cannot write that book. I don't know. He did his research. That is his passion. He has burnt midnight, oil. I have not done it. So I think we have to respect. We have to respect. See how the best thing comes out like that only. In any team also, in any group working also, difference of opinion will be there. So try to understand, make them, and then a true leader emerges. So when I said this one-to-one author, then we become great friends, and then publishing and authorship changes to family relationship. He says he wants to know more about my family, my background. I would like to know more about him, and then become a family friend. The occasion. So he joins me in appreciating what other books I am doing by other authors where he has no role, but I seek his help and guidance also. He also would have, suppose he gets some good material, he'll come back and say, Mr. Nair, I got a good material for you. Would you like to have a look at it? And then give an opinion and say yes or no, whatever you want to do. Because normally when you go to a publishing house, it takes a lot of time to get a manuscript accepted. accepted. It takes a lot of time. You have to go through the bureaucratic setup and all that, editors and all that. So that is what happens. So what I am trying to say, among those people, some of the authors I found, they are so good, I find them lifelong friends. I found that because they are the real masters, because they know how to make everything nice and easy for you to listen to them. And they are very simple people. They are, of course, occupying very high positions, but when I go and meet them again and again, I find them very simple people trying to tell you, like a professor, how you have to do things. So I find some of them became my mentors, personally also, when I was very young. Not today, but when I was young. So I use them because they were senior to me by age. Their experience from life is much more than what I had. So I use them also very nicely. So this is how you have to. So the difference of what I am trying to say is, this is one thing I just give an example. So basically my feeling is that you respect the other person. Whatever you may have opinion, you may sometimes feel that this man is not understanding, leave him alone, give him some thought and say we will meet again. You take your own time. But at that point of your time, you try to convince him, that will become a disaster. Finally, it will be a problem for both of you. That is what I feel. So the culture, so what you have said, the personal, that ego in you, that ego is required. But more than ego, you need self-respect. To me, ego is required. Everybody is having ego, but that ego is not good. So if you have self-respect, that will be useful to you to keep your head on a strong shoulder and then move up and or move on, not up, move on. So self-respect is very important. So everywhere you will find instead of following the routine path, you can find various ways how to get along with people. So that is why where you will find employer problem, political parties, they have problems. Initially they all fine, later they start fighting because selfish interest, ego start playing. Well, that meeting was organized, but he did not consult me. He could not consult you, that's fine. Then you can also tell him that perhaps I could have given you some more ideas. Oh, you could have what? Give some positive idea. Then he himself will think, oh, I should have consulted this man before the meeting was arranged. That's my mistake. Admit that, at least internally. Don't tell him and then get insulted yourself, but admit that. So all these are things to be seen in a cool manner. If you are agitated all the time, somebody is saying something, immediately you get agitated, that will not help. You must listen and then decide how this can be proceeded further in a very nice manner. So there will be less conflict, I am trying to say. Conflict cannot be avoided because we are all brought up in a different atmosphere, different temperature, different cultural background and different teachings and then I don't know what all. But then I find people who are very much in a small area, operating in a small area, living in a small area, their outreach is very small, their understanding of people in the larger frame is very less and much less. Whereas people who from the beginning traveled a couple of places with the parents or otherwise, had schooling and college in different countries, they are totally different. So this is because of the opportunity that person got. So you will find, so first of all, when you meet a person, understand his background, from where he comes, what is his background, what all. Now I have a fair idea about you because you told me something and I take it 100% truth and I got an idea about you. Similarly, you also know something. When we met at the airport, both of us had no idea. Coming in a larger scale, cultural imperialism, when I said, cultural imperialism is used by individual, societies, countries on one another. That is the point I am saying. In our case, we were, subject to that because we had two major rulers, came from outside. They had no idea about Mughal, they came, but their approach to India or our people was different. They wanted to loot money. They didn't come for, doing anything in India except they knew that India is rich at those days. They, in India was known as Sone ki chidiya, which means India somehow got a lot of gold. Sona means gold. So we know the whole world was thinking India is very rich. India has a lot of gold, and that was true also because we had a lot of many kings, more than 500 kings. So they all had appreciation or value for gold those days. So they used to keep gold, and those gold were kept in the temples so that no thief can go to a temple to steal. If you keep at home, they can come and attack the king or the queen or the people there inside. So they quietly kept such gold, and they became very big amount of treasure in the temple. British did not destroy any temples because they never came for that kind of money. By the time they came, the gold was all taken by the Mughals. So what they wanted to culturally control India. Big country, they could do a lot of experiments with this country, and big population, big market when they produce something. So they wanted to do rule us in a different way. So they use this cultural imperialism by breaking how will I change a society? When I tell them that what all you are doing is wrong, what all you are, like you said, you are not up to you are not up to that. We will teach you how to do things, and he will the boss will sit like this, and boss will sit on the ground and then listen what I am saying. 100 people listening to one man. And that is exactly the British did it, and they have no excuses for that they have not done it. They may say, but they have done it. In the process, they have also done something good for the country, because this can happen to anybody. When I go to another country or they come to India, they have to transport, they have to have postal service, they have to have certain modern facilities which Britain was enjoying. They started in India, because that is for their sake, not for Indian sake. In the process, some Indians got benefited out of it, no doubt. Then what they did, the top cream of the Indian society, they tried to hire them, converted them into British ideas, and told them, you work with us, your family will be safe.
You're saying that the top of the Indian society was converted to think more Western.
Yes,
Westernized.
And some of them became Christians, some of them did not, even then.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I understand.
Yeah. So they use them. And this is a ploy. This is by anybody will do. If India was a country which was looking for gold like Mughals, or which was looking for more areas for economic activities, India also would have done the same thing. Nothing. We are not saintly people. We also would have done the same thing. That's a politics. But Indians, throughout the history of 5,000 years, we never attacked another country. Because in our philosophy, to attack another country or another person is not there. We don't take sword quickly and then kill a man. We don't do that. That is not in us. It is not in our blood. In our thinking, which is why we say a way of life, which our people have given to us 5,000 years back, that is pardon people, improve them, try to bring them along with you if they are doing something wrong. Otherwise, of course, you have to punish them, but not like this. So therefore, So what they did, they tried to, to create a scene by which they said, what all you are doing is all wrong. This will stand against your modernization. So the best thing is, we are from that country. Just look, we have gun, we have this, we have that. We constructed 20 bridges, we have constructed 20 top class buildings. You don't have anything, we can do it here. Then you be with us, you accept us. That is how they came, and they used that for initially economic activities. Later they brought the social and cultural area also. So finally they wanted to make sure that India follows exactly what the way they want, 100% or 50% or 75%. So they changed the small set of people on the top layer of the society. They were a bit educated, they were ambitious, said, we will look after you. So those people slowly joined the British, those who came to rule us, and joined them. Then they created an army, they created an Indian army. British army cannot do everything, because the people were telling, oh, British army has killed so has killed. So what they did, they created an Indian army. That means I joined army. They selected certain kind of people and said, we will give you training, food, everything, and your family will be looked after. You will be an Indian soldier under British bosses. So they use, they are known as Sipais, SEPOY, Sipais. So Indian, they were asked to join. So when they wanted to take over that particular building, they did not send the British, they sent the Indian soldiers. They say they are ruthless, because they are just following what master said. And who is the master? British. And master, one man will be watching on his horse whether they are doing the right thing or not. So that is how they did. So in another way. So that was a brutal killing, murder, whatever. They don't care. They don't care. Anyone who is voicing, like you said, questioning, will be. So they use this initially economic activity, economic benefits, then ran into all this. So they did a lot of research, British, no doubt about it. They studied Indian psyche. So they said, to break this people, such a big country, more than hundreds of tribes, it is not easy. So they decided that let them fight against each other, and we will become a security kind of a wall, that I can look after you, be on my side, I can look after you on my side. So that is why I say cultural. So all our books, all our education system, all our school, everything got changed. So cultural imperialism was the last thing they put into us, so that if I speak good English, I am the best. If I don't know English, I am the worst.
I struggle with finding people who feel the way you and I do, and think in terms of, what is the value in another person in a sympathetic way,
yes.
Not as in how I can benefit off of them.
No, correct.
But right. And so to me, it always goes back to just love for another human, right?
Yes.
It's about love.
Yeah.
It's about love as in just because you are another human,
yes.
Right? And that's what because I believe that all of us have that cultural imperialism element to us a little bit, some more.
Yeah, it is graded. It is graded. You show in your areas, another person will show in a larger area. It can. Yes, you are right. Individual level.
I try to be conscious of myself, and even if I do something wrong, I at least try to register it always for myself and tell myself, oh, this is what I'm doing right now, and I should be aware.
You have a point, very important point you are telling. I understand that. So that individual cultural backlog you bring unknowingly, because of that ego you have in me, that I know more than this person, is the same person who will accept if he finds a better person who knows better than him also. He will not act there. He will keep mum. It's because he says that man knows more than me. That is also there, but in a small way. But mostly it is like this, that I know more than you, so you just follow me. You know, you see, everything is visible, but we don't look at it. That's what I'm saying. Each we have a different, different role for each one of them. Together, this strength is there. You can do so many things, but individually also it has its own value, because these are all connected with our total nerve system. So this appearance wise, this looks very thin. Oh, it is weak. It is not weak. It is well connected with many of your important nerve system of the body. This little finger, similarly your forefinger, similarly your finger. Each one has different role. We don't realize, we don't know. We think we have pain or we do like this. No. So there are many things hidden in this hand and hidden in our palm. That's why in olden days they used to say, never wear a shoe. You walk barefoot, because the Mother Earth and you must be in touch. You see, you are actually you are walking on your own mother's chest. You think that just for a while. Your mother is lying here, and will you walk on her chest? You will not. On her body, you will not. You will find a way to walk differently. But that is exactly treatment the Mother Earth requires from you. Whether it is air, whether it is water, whether it is soil. But we don't realize. We say, oh, this is what? This is nothing. It's a boulder. It's a stone. It's nothing. It's leaves, rotten leaves. But it all has value. That is how we are living, and we don't know how many years this cosmos. We have no idea. Nobody knows this. Even NASA. Calculations come, calculations change. So basically, if you are in touch with Mother Earth, you will start understanding what is Mother Earth, how you cannot be arrogant to it. That's why earlier I told you also, technology has made us arrogant. And the technology has made us arrogant, so we don't care for Mother Earth. We don't care for Mother Earth. All these people who are talking of climate change and all, I must tell you that they are the one who created all the problem. But they will not accept it.
It's like
they created all the problem, because they made all the bombs, they made all the tunnels, they made all the things which polluted this earth. But Mother Earth did not ask you to do that, but you did it. You had a freedom. Now you are telling those countries like Africa or Asia, part of Asian countries, they are still underdeveloped. They are struggling. You don't do this. Yeah. But then you have already done it and you have surpassed that. So you have not taken care of the Mother Earth. So first of all, rectify that and try to rectify, then you will be fine. All this COVID or anything which is happening once in 100 years, all are kind of a system Earth is producing for you to understand and change if you want to. If you don't want to change, destruction. In our theory, one day water will take over the whole earth. This is in our Puranas, in our Vedic literature, it is written. There will be flood and flood and flood only. And we used to think 25 years back, water is a shortage. We are all having drought. From where water will come finally take over the country? But it is happening now, because sea level has gone up. See, we never thought this will happen, that the Mother Earth will go down, sea will come up, and that is how it will happen. Sea level is going up, because you have ruined this Mother Earth. So question is, people who are now issuing resolutions and then statements in Geneva or in some place, they meet all the rich nations talking about climate change, let's do this, let's do that. They are the one who created all this. First of all, they must understand. They will not, until and unless they understand, they will not. They will not do anything. They will only talk. Still they will do. Now, side by side, they are trying to go to moon. The richest of the rich, we are talking climate change, because they want to live. They are not saying, when asking for climate change, they are not asking, let us do things for the next generation. They only say, let us do for ourselves. You are finished. Now what more you can do for yourselves? You have to think of the next generation. Our parents thought of next generation. So they didn't ruin. They didn't ruin what they got already. They tried to, with the minimum usage. But you ruined in last 50, 70, 100 years. You finished the earth. Now you are saying no climate change. They are not telling, let us do it now. You have to not think of now. Now is gone. Think of 50 years ahead what you can do now. What you do now will give a breathing space for the next generation. That is what actually people should, they don't realize, but Asians are talking about it, Africans are talking about it. Now, the other thing what you said is a toothbrush. I am only saying same kind of people who met and saying about climate change, asking Asia and Africans not to do this or South Americans not to do that all. They are the same people who created toothbrush also. They created so many things for their own business sake, not for maintaining my teeth. They are not bothered about your or my teeth. They knew that they create a brush. With the brush they need accessories like paste, they need so many other things. So that is how it is. So they started all the things one after the other. And this game is going on. Even today, just now, as we are talking of problems, they are talking of the next 10 years, how we can fool the billions of people. Billions of people they see from top, they are sitting on the top, money wise, media wise, everything is in their control. They are looking down to see us as market. Yeah. Earlier you used to see the earth as a market, country as, now they are not looking, they are looking at people like us as a market. How can I sell bread to them? How can I sell butter to them? How can I sell all? So how you do it? So they create all kinds of issues. Initially media will be hired, paid well, they will issue stories. Oh, this is going to happen, if you don't clean with the brush, then you will have cancer in your skin. All kinds of things will happen. So you get worried, so then they create something and they make a big business plan, share the business plan, 10 people, 20 people all over the world, and that is what is happening. It may be happening in a biggest hotel in New York City, who knows? They are planning. Right now they are planning. And the question is, earlier, I never used a toothbrush when I was in the school. There was no school brush. Of my age and time, a child in UK was already using. Look at that. A child in UK, they are already introduced. So they want a bigger market. How they can do it? They have to come to Asia. They have to go to that place where there is people are not using, so that there they can sell 100%. So they did a market survey, research, how these people are cleaning. So we used to go by the nature. So there is a particular plant each family will have, and morning it will be taken off, cut into this size, brush size only, cut into brush size, and the top portion of that will be made as a brush, small brush, and it is a medicinal plant, but thick, not leaf. It's a thick, thick stuff.
Yeah.
So it will be, so the juice will come out from that, because each of this tree, if you just do that, some juice will come out, because they are also living. So that is their blood that comes out. That is good for your mouth, avoid mouth ulcer, or creates extra thing for digestion and all that. So this was discovered by our generations, by those who also was doing right kind of research, not for selling, but right kind of research, what is good for a common man. So that old people, my father or my father's father, they will make hundreds of them, keep it at home. You take one, you do that, and then you use it in the morning. Go for a walk. While walking they do it, not sitting like this, not in the bathroom, they don't do it. While walking with the nature in the morning, 5 o'clock, 5:30. They do it on clean and all that, and that will be thrown. It will not be reused again. Only one time, once, and then we clean the mouth. Okay, and that has a medicinal value. That is an Ayurveda medicinal plant. It is given by the nature, and who discovered? Our forefathers discovered it through their own research team. There used to be a research kind of people in those areas also. They were not part of NASA or somebody, but each village there used to be such, highly educated in the sense, knowledge based people, reading scriptures, and they knew. So, and that was being used for cleaning. Now, one fine morning, the newspaper brought out that this is not good. It has got a lot of problem. So please don't use it. And somebody in a family also agreed to it. Yes, let us start brush. So went and bought the brush, one brush, two brush. The entire family threw that stick out, and brush was introduced. And then the toothpaste. This is what happened. The other thing I have used, apart from this stick, there is at home, ladies used to create a kind of a powder. Looks like a coal powder, black, full of medicinal value. That with a little bit of salt, they keep it ready for the children, and they take it, give it little bit. You give it here, and that will be taken and clean your mouth, and the whole blood circulation will go up in this area. That is very important. And then that also is done when you walk or you are outside the house, not in the bathroom. Not in the bathroom, outside only. Water is outside available near the well, and clean, and then come for the breakfast. And that is all disappeared now. Nobody knows who has made it. My grandmother used to make it, but she is no more. No one knows its value of it, and it all got converted into tooth powder now. Now tooth powder is made by chemical. Anything which is going into machine is nothing but chemical. Anything. The doctor told me this, who passed out his FRCS, is a great doctor, studied in UK, say, don't believe any medicine which you are taking. You take it now, nothing can be done. But don't believe, that is a chemical. That creates acid. Because your body is not prepared for acidic stuff. But you are eating that every day, and that will create further acidity. So that is what is happening. So therefore, tooth powder, toothbrush, tooth powder, both were introduced. Then many types of tooth powder, many types of toothbrush, many types of, look at that business, many types of toothpaste. Business grown, Colgate, so many other gates, all happened, and they all become multi-billionaire. Because it's a big market. Every day you are consuming. So that is what happened. So this is how they manage things. This is how they manage. Even what I am wearing is today. Earlier, when I used to have these kinds of things, something else.
It's like the example that you had about eating by hand.
Eating by hand also, same thing. Eating by hand also. And now they are telling, now there are people who understand, like who are questioning in America or questioning in other countries the value of tablets, value of allopathy. Drugs is not good. Those people are saying that people are eating by hand, they are fine. In India, they all thought that COVID will take over India and India will be finished. 136 crore people, which is 1.36 billion people, will be finished. Nothing happened. The system, we have our own immunity system. The hand is, you keep the hand clean and use the water. You see, now in cold countries, water is not used. Ours is a tropical country. Even Africa is a tropical country. You can use water. Water is there. You use the water. It's no problem.
Yeah, you said also eating by hand
versus
eating with
and it gives you better taste.
Yeah.
Because the blood circulation is there, and therefore the food, and it's a hot food you are eating, so the blood circulation and your taste will be different. And how do you taste? Even today, you tell me, you cook. When you cook, these technical people don't give anything how to taste. You still, with all the technical thing you cook, but you take it here and then you taste. Why you put it here? You tell me, why you put it here? You can say,
yeah.
You can't. So when you put it here, you know the heat. You know how much heat it is, hot it is. Accordingly, you can drink.
I actually always try my food on how hot it is. I try it with hand.
Exactly. So that is what I am saying. So all these, see, as days progress, as months progress, as years progress, you will find these are the people who are running corporates, businesses and all, they are looking for their own profit. Let me tell you, none of the, to me, I am a publisher. I am telling you. If I don't look after myself, how will I look after authors? You tell me. So as a publisher, I am supposed to look after myself because I have to be in business. But at the same time, I should also think of the authors. If I have a balance, no problem. But 95%, no balance. It is only one-sided story. They make, they put it out, force you to buy and perish. They don't want any feedback from you. It's all show business. Send a feedback. Who is going to send a feedback to somebody? You buy something from New York, next day you are in Seattle or you are in Africa. Will you write to that fellow that, oh, your item was not good? The amount of food you are eating at the airport, sometimes rotten food. We picked up from the airport rotten fruits. Rotten fruits. We threw it. But who has time to write? They should not have sold to me because COVID, no buyer. The damn thing was kept in the refrigerator for months and months. We should not have bought, myself and Leda, but we were hungry. So we thought the best bet will be fruits. So we asked for fruits. It's there, you will take it. And it was rotten. So we didn't eat. If we eat, bacteria. Yeah. So what I am only trying, are they concerned about you? But the same thing applicable to me also as a businessman, as a publisher. But when I publish a book, two things happen. That I always find that I give full service to my author and try to do work together. To me, when I publish a book, author is most important. Number one person I should be worried about is the author, not the man who is buying 1,000 copies of my book. He is a trader. He is buying 1,000 copies because he can sell. He is not important to me. More important to me is my author. So my author, I respect, he or she, and I say, we are going to have a baby. We have to nurture it. We have to work together. Let us find a ways and means. You tell me how, where I should sell the last copy of your book, not the first copy, not the second copy, the last copy. I must know. Till that point, I will promote the book. When I find that, yes, whatever I could do, I did, then it's fine. So, you work like that. And sometimes I cannot do justice to an author when I publish a book. You know what I do? I call for a meeting one-to-one. I tell the author, I tried my level best, but unfortunately, we are not able to move up. It's not good for you and good for me also. So we can say bye-bye. And I will recommend you 3 other publishers who can do better than me in marketing your books. Production, I am good. Pre-press, production, editing, nobody can beat me. I am very good. I will do a good job. But marketing, I have my limitations sometimes. Then he says, oh, okay, Mr. Nair, let's discuss. And I give my rights back to them. I give my rights, and no publisher will give rights. Mm-hmm. Oh, you ask for a rights, you sign an agreement with somebody and your book is out and you are unhappy, you say, please give me rights, whatever is the deal, I will pay you money. He will never give you. He will trouble you. He said, no, I spent so much time developing your book, reading your manuscript, prepared your book, published your book. I will not give you rights. He will not give rights. Out of 100 publishers, 99 publishers, but I am different.
I'm amazed at what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
Yeah, I am different. I give you rights. I said, no, go. Please go and try your luck. And those authors go, if they do well, they always say, it is Mr. Nair who advised me to come to you. I am happy, you have done a good job. But his second book he will again offer to me. Would you like to publish? If you can't, then I will go to somebody else. So it happened with me. So I am a man with a different work culture, work ethos. I cannot say about all other publishers. There are publishers who publish books and don't pay anything to the author. They don't give any account to the author. Authors ask, what happened to my book? You took it 3 years back. How many copies? It's not selling. It's not selling. Very difficult. Right. So I think I am only trying to say that there are all businessmen. I am not telling they are wrong. There are good businessmen also. I am not telling there are. But when we talk of majority. We don't talk of minority all the time. That minority is good, majority is so major businessmen, they only look after their interest.
You know what was very important to me, and that I said I didn't understand right away when you first said it. It's again, by the way you talk, I think about that. This is this is how I would do it, right?
Yeah.
But not many people are, and so I wonder to myself, I feel like I'm in the minority, and that worries me, right? And I remember you said, "Don't worry, Ilona." You said
do what you yourself.
Yeah,
what you can do. You see, now let me tell you. You put forth. You see, if you get worried or you get concerned about all the time about what others are doing, what I am doing right, that will not give any because you are not here to preach. Then you should be a priest, or you should be something, pick up an occupation of that sort, which you are not. You have decided that I will be doing this, and whatever job you will be doing, whether you are a business person, or you are an online seller, or you are looking after kids, or you are into education, do it truthfully, honestly. Even today, I tell you, I am not talking, I am just telling because Lata is there. People even remember Lata, how she helped a person who was, the student who was completely, rejected by other teachers in that school for many reasons. They have come up. One boy we met in New York, he is in IBM now, and he says, and she calls her now auntie, only you only helped me. When I was having problem, everybody was against me, but you said no, you can do it. You take little time, even if you lose 1 year, don't worry. And he is in IBM. He is working in IBM. And he came to see her with his wife and kid in the New York airport when he heard that she is there. So that doesn't mean that all the teachers are like that. I am only trying to say that there are good people everywhere, and that is how the world is running. Otherwise this world will be finished. Everything has a time, and I always feel like I said, you walk carefully, give respect to where you walk. There are another way of, you do spit, you do whatever and you walk, that's also possible. You throw stuff here and there, that's also possible. It's up to you how you do it. Same thing your behavior. But always remember one thing, there is somebody watching you in your mind. Somebody outside this watching you what you are doing, and that is going to pay you finally.
I also remember when I said that, about finding those good people, you also said it's about faith, and you made an example about how you would come to a temple, and you said that you wouldn't understand why you need to pray, why you need mantras.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Could you just mention that one also?
Yeah, I think because you see, you go to a temple and you pray and you think it's a building, nobody is there, God is not sitting there and all fine. But that temple is made out of certain exercises. You see, each temple in India is made with a magnet below. There is a power. When you go to a temple and they say don't come with the slippers, shoes, remove the shoes outside, clean your feet with water and then come into. We all do like that. In churches it is not there, but we do that. Now in Kerala, in India, churches are also following that now. It will be clean. And then you go to a temple, what happens is that temple is made with certain scripted rules and regulations. It is not just made by an architect. Okay, you create this prayer room here, you create audience room here, you create priest. No, everything is made, measured mathematically, scripted. And what you see a ready-made temple, below there is something. We don't know that foundation. It's all laid properly. So when you enter that temple area, there is a power, existing power there, which is connected to another power. And when you go there, exactly the whole time you change your feeling. And then this mantras also, as I told you, that voice, sounds which echoes, and all these are very important. All very important. There are many seekers in this world. Some seek something, some seek something. Some wish to have something. We go to college, we want to go to the best college, study. We want to go to the best university. We want to wear the best clothes. Some of them wanted to have branded clothes. All that is there. There is, as I told you, this whole world, all population consists of rare after rare of people. You know, different. And it is run, so far it will run because of good people, not because of unscrupulous businessmen and all that. That they will do, they will go away also, karma. You can see many people, by the time they make big money, film producers and directors, they get into all kinds of cases and all. You know that, I don't have to tell you, you are reading all that. Now, people who are seeking a power, extra power, which you and I, we don't have, we have not seen, like we name God or we name God of any belief, that is an extra power, which is running this cosmos, running everything. So there are people born every day or every month or every year. They are the seekers of that extra power. They want to know. For that, they will go to any extent. That particular person might have born in a kingdom family as a son of a king. And there are instances in India and many places. He has given up that. He became a wanderer. Wanted to know what is this universe? What is this endless ocean? What is this mountain? Who created this? These are the people known as seekers. They want to know, they want to explore that which we are not interested. We are very materialistic, So, those kinds of people take birth every now and then. And they could be from ordinary family, from the well-known family, reputed family, all that. But they will not have anything to do with the family. They get out. They may look very disinterested people like that with the beard and all that walking. You will say, who is this fellow? But full of knowledge. They study, they seek, they go through books and they have mentors. When you go to Himalayas, there are people there living for hundreds of years. They say, we don't know. They don't do any combing or anything. It's all, very bad. They don't. They only go to the coldest water, do this thing and then come back. They don't take any medicine. They have fever, so they know what plants they are to eat and they are fine. No injection, no medicine, nothing. 10, 20 years sometimes they are there. Then they come out also. So that is also on order. One of my friends became like that. And when he didn't want to leave his mentor who was living in that place, cave. So he said, I'm not going.
You said a cave?
A cave. They all live in caves and all that,
Yeah, in the nature.
So he said he wanted to go. He doesn't want to go. But he said, no, you'll have to go now. Your time is over. I am older than you. I am your mentor. I will stay here. I have still more to do. You get out now. You go to the world. Next 2 years, you will not speak to anybody. What you learned here, what you experienced here, many things he experienced in 7 to 8 years. Originally, he was a Muslim, but he learned about our religion, Hinduism, so much. I can't tell you. Even a Hindu priest has no idea. So much this fellow learned from that fellow, or whatever. He said, 2 years you go, 2 years you go and have an ordinary life. Ask people. Yes, I went for a walk. Many years I walked and to know people, good, bad people. I'll come back. And he said, suppose then what do I do? He said, you start a school for young children, underprivileged children. You do something, give back to something. So he came to a city of technocrats. That is called Bangalore. Bangalore is a city like your Silicon Valley. All the new things happen there. So he went to Bangalore and he bought a small piece of land and started 20, 30 children of tribal to teach them. So 2 years he did not speak. He only did this thing because his guru, mentor in Hindi we say guru. So his guru told that you don't talk to anybody about anything 2 years. A time will come, I will tell you. You speak. That is the time you have to speak. You have to talk. And that is the time for you to disseminate what all you know. He believed, naturally. He came back. 2 years he did not speak. After 2 years, he told the story to me directly. He was standing in the Bangalore railway station. Big railway station like your New York railway station. Bangalore has got a big station. As he was standing, in between many people asked. His name was Muhammad, Muslim. But he used to be known as Sri M. SHRI Sri is usually used by Hindus like Sri KPR Nair, Sri Vinod Kumar or some Shiva Kumar or Sri Vishnu. Sri is never used by Muslim. But that mentor told him that you will be known from today Sri M. No Muhammad, no other name. M only, M. So he was known even today as Sri M. He has written many books. You can Google Sri M, books by Sri M, you will find Sri M. When you look at him, he looks like 6'3", very different face he has. So he was standing, railway station, and train passes like this, and the same mentor standing in the compartment and waving at him. Says, start. He says, seriously, first I thought it was a dream or what? Again he looked back, the train was going very fast. Again looked, he said, yes, he was my guru. So he said, it's a signal to me that I should start now. Meanwhile, what happened? Since he was in Bangalore city, many clubs are there. A Rotary Club, Lions Club. Many clubs where so-called intellectual people sit, want to listen to people. They bring top people to talk. So they knew this man, he is something. So he said, Sri M, why didn't you talk? He said, no, I'm not supposed to talk. I will not talk. So he did not speak. give any lecture. After this particular incident, he waved the hand. Next or third day, he got a call from the Lion Club. Sriyam, are you ready for a talk? Then he thought, my God, I saw that and I am ready. He said, okay, I am ready for a talk. And he gave the first speech. And there he was telling me, I don't know what I have to talk. No preparation. I have not thought about it, accepted it. I went. As soon as I started my speech, first I worshipped my Guru. Please help me, take care of me, I am going to talk. I think maybe life beyond death or something, some topic. He started. He says the Guru appeared in his mind, said, speak. And he says, it was one of the greatest speeches I have made. I don't know what I spoke. Everybody said, oh my God, what all you spoke so well. And this was his first experience. So like that, so many people are there, we don't know, countless. This I met because of some other reason. I met him. Recently he was awarded a very big award by the government for his good work bringing communities together. See, bringing up our communities together to be peaceful, happy and things like that. She's doing a good job. And he has written 3 books also. One book release we had gone. So point I am only trying to say, so those are the people who are here and there and they only meet you if you are supposed to meet. You cannot go and say, well, I want to meet A, I want to meet A. No. If it is written, you will meet. If it is not written, you will not meet. So such a person was the one who came that day to me. He was walking on the road and he came up to the first floor. And first meeting he came on his own. I don't know him, he didn't know me. Came and I was having a 5,000 square feet showroom and I was sitting as a showroom in charge. Books. He came and sat like this. He said, get me a cup of tea for me. I said, okay. So I knew he was a kind of a guru. Appearance wise, simple dress. He had a lot of chains on his body. Chains, iron chain. So I ordered 2 cups of tea, one for you, one for me. And I started talking. He said, and I was prepared, I was not prepared to meet him, but it happened, destiny. So whatever he told me became truth. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matters. Afterwards, he only met me again once. Afterwards, I never met him. I don't know where he is now. So it happens. It happens with many people. If you are destined to meet, you will meet. If you are not, whatever you may do,